Marco Rubio.
Marco Rubio.
Marco Rubio.
Senator Rubio, you've taken.
America is the greatest country in the world, but it didn't get that way by accident.
Every single generation before us has been asked to make sacrifices. Some went to war, others survived depressions. But every American generation confronted the great challenges of their time. And because they did, we live the life we do today. We are faced with a world as dangerous and as uncertain as ever. Trillions in foreign debt, unsustainable federal spending, and an ever-growing government that wants us to be more like the rest of the world than the other way around.
I wasn't born from the right family, and we didn't have money. I was raised in a community of exiled. America's the land of opportunities.
A place where the son of a bartender doesn't have to become a bartender, and where the son of a maid can achieve any dream. So now we're being asked whether we want to keep all that, or whether we want to become more like the place my parents came from.
My grandfather instilled in me the belief that I was blessed to live in the one society in all of human history where even I, the son of a bartender and a maid, could aspire to have anything and be anything that I was willing to work hard to achieve. We are the most generous country in the history of the world.
In their laws. And if in fact people feel that way, as that poll says, then they can petition their state legislature to change the law. The second point I would make is I think there are still a significant number of Americans that believe that the definition of marriage should be that of one man and one woman, as it has been for thousands of years.
There are a lot of
and that continues.
but they're a minority, and
well, I mean, there's a large minority. In essence, there are still parts of this country that believe that way. But irrespective of it, we're in a republic. If you want to change the marriage laws of your state, go to your state legislature and get your legislators to change it. I don't believe the court system is the appropriate way to do it, and I don't believe Washington and the Supreme Court is the appropriate way to do that.
We ask ourselves if we want to keep all that, or have America as a place where my family comes from. That's why I'm running for president, for that all of our children can be part of one of the great generations in American history.
And so that you and I can do as every American generation before us has done, and pass on the single greatest society in all of mankind.
you mentioned when I talked about the candidate of tomorrow,
Yeah.
You mentioned that you meant that more in terms of economic issues than you did in terms of social issues. Do you think it's a mistake? Do you think it's a trap by people in the media to ask Republicans about social issues?
No, these are important issues. People want to know what you feel and think about them. I think they're very important issues to a lot of people in this country. And I recognize that we're a country that has people on both sides of these issues that feel very strongly about it. I owe people where I stand. I'll tell you where I stand. But ultimately, and I'm not saying these are not important issues to have the highest office in the land opine on or give opinions on. But ultimately, I want all Americans to succeed economically, independent of what they may feel like on a social issue. I want all Americans to be more prosperous, to be able to leave their children better off than themselves, to have better jobs, to have businesses that are successful. I want America to be globally competitive. So we're a big enough country and a free enough country to debate these issues robustly and work through them as we have always done as a society. But we still have to grow economically and be secure
61%
militarily.
of Republican voters under the age of 30, I believe, support same-sex marriage. On that issue, same-sex marriage, Senator, you're the candidate of yesterday.
Well, a couple points. Number one, that is an issue that will largely be determined at the state level, since marriage laws have always been defined by the states. I'm not, for example, ever supported a federal constitutional amendment to define marriage because I believe states define marriage.
I am Marco Rubio, and I approve this message.